Well, since today I just got this award, which makes me so happy for my garden, that gave me kind of enough courage to go ahead and do a garden tour. So here we're looking at the garden from the west. It's about an hour before sunset and the light's a little glaring, sorry about that, but we've got my viburnum, my rose of Sharon. Here's a little archway that the boy next door and I kind of built with some rebar. We've got some morning glories and a clematis and a rose eventually will be going up it. That's a Woolerton Old Hall rose. There's a story to that. And here's the garden. On this western side, I got this big maple tree. It's really beautiful in the autumn. And this is looking down, looking south on the garden. These big, beautiful 9-bark. These 9-bark have been wonderful. They bloom in May with little tufts of pink flowers, and this dark foliage is great. About 5 feet tall, about 6 feet wide. And here's the outside of the garden here. This is exciting because this is a cleome that I finally got to bloom. I've been working on those for a while. I've got some ebony and ivory crepe myrtle, and that should grow up to be a small tree. It'll have white flowers on it. I've got some Verbena bonariensis there, and the cosmos isn't blooming, but it's pretty. Got my grass. Let's go around this way. You know, rebar makes a pretty decent arch. It's inexpensive. And these roses, they're just plain old knockout roses. They're past their first pretty bloom. I got some grasses. And here and there I've got my globe thistle, which is a really cool plant. Get about 5 feet tall. I got my bench my husband gave me as a birthday present there. And there's the front of the house. The house faces north. Got another crepe myrtle there. In a few years there should be some decent shade going on. This is one of my favorite grasses here. It's looking really pretty. Looks pretty with the light behind it there. I've got some dark basil, just starting to bloom. Another crepe myrtle, ebony and ivory again, and some more of those trellises made of rebar. These just have morning glories growing up on them and some moonflowers. There is clematis in there, but they've just been planted, so they're not going to show up for a while. And this big grass I put in about 3 years ago. It keeps getting bigger. It's about 5 feet tall now. I've got some, it smells of dill here very much. And the coneflowers and some cornflowers. Things I'm hoping will reseed themselves in here, really. I've got some dwarf butter spruce. Those are going to be my winter flowers. This is a vitex tree, a small tree. Let's go around the other side here. I got lots of bees that are very interested in everything here. This is some oregano that's blooming, and the bees are very interested. Some salvia, and there's my vitex tree, a little vitex, very pretty. Also called a chase tree or monk's pepper, or a Texas lilac. Laertes and some little lavenders. I've got lots of this Artemisia because I like to have the red and the silver foliage And of course all of my lamb's ear, which is blooming. Some people cut off the blooms, but I like the blooms and the bees love them. And so here's looking northward up the garden. The cornflowers are my favorite thing. And this year they are just kind of struggling along because they had to get transplanted into the garden, but they will self-seed. Next year should be good. This is my tobacco, my ornamental tobacco plants. They are just starting to send up their little shoots for the blooms. That's exciting. And that is a prickly poppy, a native of Texas, I believe. And I love the silver foliage. Those are just great, and I hope those self-seed. For